A trade in the works. It looks that way. One that could get across the finish line ahead of the trade deadline that would feature two young players switching places. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Joining me is Donnie Freeman. Donnie, before we talk about this potential trade, 40,000 subscribers. Let's go. Thank you, everybody, for helping us get there.
Yes, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now on to the next. We're trying to hit 50. And guess what? Subscribe, as 90% of the viewers aren't subscribed so far.
Now you're just making that
the more subscribers we get, the ratio will just keep going higher. We're going to hit 50, and I would say 60,000. 99% of viewers aren't.
150% of viewers are not subscribed, but we really have 70% of our viewers are not subscribed.
Yeah, that was a legit thing. I don't know where maybe it's closer to 60 now, but thank you. We appreciate it.
We do. Again, everybody, we're so thrilled with the growth we've seen at the channel, with the response that we've gotten for the Basketball Bulletin. We're really excited about the future and where everything is heading. But let's get into the news. We've got, according to Jake Fisher, there is an incomplete deal, and incomplete is important. This is the framework of a deal that obviously has been discussed. It would feature Benedict Mathurin going to the Pelicans in exchange for big man Yves, who has a lot of interest out there on the market right now. There are a number of teams that have looked at an Yves deal, including the Chicago Bulls. They've talked with the Pelicans about an Yves trade. He was not listed among the 5 Pelicans players that, right or wrong, are considered to be not available. Zion Williamson is one of them, and yet the Bulls have also rumored to have talked Zion Williamson trades. So I don't know how much you buy that he's really on the untouchable list for the Pels, but Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, much to the dismay of everyone around the NBA, they're reportedly on that list, as well as Jeremiah Fears and Garrett Queen. No surprise they're on that list. But Yves notably absent, and now we get this report that the Pels and Pacers are talking trade. The Pelicans hold interest in Mathurin, sources say, though I've been told that Indiana is holding out for a greater return for the microwave scorer than merely Missi. As we covered before, Indiana has been widely searching for avenues to turn Mathurin, who's destined for restricted free agency, into a starting caliber center to slot alongside Tyrese Halliburton next season, in hopes of helping restore the Pacers to championship contention. Will Indiana be able to find better return for Mathurin than Missi? That is the calculus the Pacers are working on between now and February 5th. So if the Pacers can't move Mathurin for something better than Yves Missi, they may go ahead and do a deal like this, and we'll look at the numbers behind it, because it's sounding more and more, Donnie, the way they're shopping Yves Missi out in the market, that the Pacers, while they don't want to lose him for nothing, I don't think they want to be the team to pay Benedict Mathurin on his next contract.
Yeah, and then the question is, does New Orleans want to be that team to pay him on his next contract?
Right.
You know, that's something we have to consider with him too. But when it comes to Mathurin, he's a very volatile player. I think he could be a guy that you could have as part of your core. By the way, the wing rotation of him with Herb and Trey, that's pretty interesting as well. Like that could be a really fun group there. And as a trio of wings, you know, not the best defensive one. You got a couple of guys that are just average at best, but you have a really, really good one there. And I think that's enough to make it work. But to me, like, where does that leave Zion? Things like that I'd be more concerned about. But I do wonder about that overall in terms of the fit with Indiana, because they showed that they've got their own depth and things like that. And sometimes he was a bit superfluous, but I will give him credit because there were some games in their playoff run where he was absolutely instrumental to their wins. And I think that he is a guy that, long story short, is worth, obviously, a good amount of money, but he may feel like he's worth more than they're willing to pay him. And I think that's where this stems from.
Exactly. And I'm thinking he's probably got his eyes on
30 million,
the 25 to 30 million range, the Josh Giddey, the Jonathan Kuminga, right? It's what all the RFAs were looking for last summer. 18 points per game, by the way, on the season for Ben Mathurin, 5.5 rebounds, 2.2 assists. He's hurt right now, dealing with a thumb injury, but 42% from the field, 36% from three. Maybe the Pacers just say, you know what, for our team, we've got Nembhard, we've got Nesmith, we've got our wings. We really need a big. We lost Miles Turner. We don't know if we want to be the team to give Mathurin $25 million a year, whatever he's going to want. Let's turn him into our big, and we'll fix that problem. You know, we've had guys like Jay Huff that have done some things for us in the middle, but let's go get our locked in guy. Does Yves Missi check that box for the Pacers? Is he good enough? He's right now the backup in New Orleans. Now, he was drafted just a couple years ago. He's the backup, though, in New Orleans because of the emergence of Derek Queen.
Yeah, DQ has made him expendable to a degree. And I got to say on Yves, he doesn't do a ton of things, but what he does do, he does well. And they've been better on both ends of the court with him out there. Now, it's a low bar because they're not a good team.
That's true.
But he has been a positive on both ends of the court for them. So I think for Indiana, losing Miles, who's not had a good year thus far for Milwaukee, but losing him, they have been trying to get another center. And frankly, they were trying to get another center even with Miles. So they may feel like they need to add those reinforcements. And if they could get a guy cost control, cheap, all those things in Missi, and a guy that's not going to be expecting $30 million a couple years from now when his extension is due, unless he really plays like it between now and then. I think that's a good decision for them to make because they're going to keep on trying to find guys, and Huff has been admirable. I don't know where he's at now, but for a while he was averaging like 2 blocks a game, things like that. He's been pretty good for them, but they still need more reinforcements.
Yeah, they definitely do. Now, let's talk a little bit about what this deal could actually look like. We're going to get to that in 1 minute. We'll be right back. Ever hear the Sleeper app? Here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats. A news feed, this is so important for me. You can get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams. A real-time chat to allow you to engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA seasons. So download the #1 sports app today. Experience it for yourself. When you use promo code Bulletin, you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And by the way, they do have a phenomenal promo going on right now as well. Free $20 entry. Go check that out. No deposit required. $20 entry for free. Go check them out. Use the link in the description down below, and that promo code is Bulletin. All right, so let's get into it. We'll build a trade here. The Pacers certainly could use a big. They're holding out hope, but if we get that they can find somebody better than Yves-Missi, but if we get up to the buzzer, it's February 4th, it's February 5th, which is the actual deadline day. Maybe they just say, okay, we'll take Missi, especially if they decide, again, that they don't want to pay Mathurin. If they don't want to pay Mathurin, what it's going to cost, you're either looking at a lengthy staring contest, an uncomfortable situation this summer, or you move him now and you avoid that whole hornet's nest there.
He's an RFA, right?
Yes, yeah, he'll be an RFA. Speaking of Hornets, the Hornets could actually use a center. Maybe they get in on Yves-Missi. But so taking a look at the deal just straight up. Now, there are some trade exceptions in play. The problem is that Ben Mathurin makes $5.8 million more than Yves-Missi does. So could you do something where, though the Pelicans have a big trade exception, could you trade Mathurin into you could trade him into their mid-level trade exception? You could do something like that. Would that change the math on it? Nope, still doesn't quite work. Just getting too much because they're hard capped at that first apron. So essentially what we're talking about here is you're going to have to add something coming from the New Orleans side going to Indiana. And the name that's been out there has been Jose Alvarado as somebody who could be available here. I wonder if that's enough to push this across the finish line here.
He just filler in this case because he could be feisty there, but I don't think they really need another smaller guard.
No, I don't think they do either, but there's enough interest in him to where, and there's actually a rumor today connecting Jose Alvarado to the Houston Rockets. So I'm thinking, what if this flips into a 3-team trade? That's more what I'm thinking here. We're not actually drawing that out on this, but Jose Alvarado going out would be enough outgoing salary for the Pels. Maybe Alvarado, because they already have TJ McConnell in Indiana. I don't know. I like Jose Alvarado a lot, but I don't know if they need him there. So maybe this becomes a 3-team trade and Jose Alvarado goes to a 3rd team, and that's how you satisfy the salary requirements for the Pels.
Yeah, they've got a lot of ball handling. It doesn't hurt. They showed that you want teams that have a lot of ball handling if you want to make it deep in the playoffs and stuff like that. It doesn't hurt to get into the guard, but yeah, you probably would want to add a 3rd team in, and maybe at that point you could get something else, But I was looking at the Pacers, looking at some of their lineup data as well while you were going there. And I was trying to see how some of their centers have performed. Did you know that this year they've employed 7 different centers? And like, when you filter through, they've got like 7 different centers in there, and like 10 different power forwards. Some of that is overlap, but like it's ridiculous how many bigs they've been trialing this season.
Yeah, they've wanted to see if anybody happens to pop and they could stay. I mean, they brought back Tony Bradley a few times. Micah Potter has done some things for them. You know, they've got some guys. Jay Huff has done some things, but they're looking for the guy. You know what I mean? You know the old saying in the NFL, if you've got 3 quarterbacks, that means you really have none.
Yeah.
That's kind of the pace. The Pacers can go, well, we really have 3, 4, whatever centers that we can try. That really means you have none, because you need your one guy that is clearly the man, and they don't have that guy.
Yeah, they were even brought back Wiseman to test him out. A lot of things happened there. My one thing about this is you can kind of see how a center looks, but you're not going to see what a center truly looks like until you get your generational superstar guard back. You know, he's going to make the job so much easier for these guys, all of these players, especially these centers, though. But I wonder if for Indiana, you know, this isn't just some sort of do it by committee thing next year. You know, they'll have like 3 guys they really like, none exceptionally great at anything, but that'll give them the ability to have different coverages if they want to do that. In one game, we'll need more spacing. We'll need more of a bigger body. Like you can do that type of stuff.
Well, I think they're trying to avoid not having one guy that they really like by moving Ben Mathurin. I think that's what they want to turn him into.
Yeah.
Is there one guy for next year? But I don't know. Like Yves-Missi, I think it was a step in there. Is he better than everything they've got? Yes. Is he the guy they want moving forward? He's been good. Like Keith Smith and I, we did play-by-play for Nets Pelicans for NBA League Pass last week, and Yves-Missi played Derek Queen off the floor. Derek Queen got benched because he was awful defensively, and Yves-Missi crushed the Nets on the offensive glass. Like, he is a very good player. The problem is, I think he's one tier below the locked in, this dude is for sure a starter type player that the Pacers want. And that's going to be the challenges. They want to see if they can find that guy. If not, maybe they take the gamble and say, okay, well, if we have to take back Missi, then Pels, you got to kick us in something else. But that really begs the other question here. What are the Pelicans doing?
That's what, see, like I tried to wax poetic about it, but I don't know if I really think that's a great addition.
Like, they're rumored to be willing to move on from Jordan Poole, which, like, yeah, no shit. Of course they're willing to move on.
They've also got Murray just sitting there.
Yeah, like that. Like, DeJounte Murray is like, hey, guys, I'm still here. My Achilles is almost grown back. So now you've got the Pelicans potentially picking up Ben Mathurin. You've got Derek Queen, who's not a rim protector. You've got Zion Williamson, who's not a rim protector, not particularly good defensively. You've got Herb Jones, who's good defensively, but can Herb Jones defend an entire team? Trey Murphy is okay. DeJounte Murray has had good seasons where he's been a defensive player, but not recently. And now that he's, trying to repair his Achilles, I wouldn't expect him to be a good defensive player. You've got if you don't move Jordan Poole, he's not a good defender. Like, there's not a lot here.
And Benedict isn't all that either.
Exactly.
So that's my point. Like, it's just kind of like we're far enough into the video where I don't have to sugarcoat it. This doesn't make much sense to me. But I will say for both of these guys, 2 things. Missi is only 21. I think he's about to turn 22. There's plenty of time for him to develop into the guy for Indiana. So that's part of the reason why I think this trade makes sense for them, other than the fact they need another center. You were correct with the Queen thing. The numbers bear that out as well. Queen has been exceptionally good on offense, but he's a black hole on defense, while Missi is not that same negative on defense and is steady on offense. So that's why I said he's been really good on both ends. For a team with this poor production in terms of win-loss record, Missi breaks out as basically even in their differential overall. It's actually like Gabe. He's like minus 0.1.
Are you calling Yves-Missi Captain
No,
Cardio?
No. In this case, it's the opposite. That means he's been really good because they've been a bad team.
Oh, okay. You're saying he's taking a bad team to back to zero, back to neutral.
Exactly. He's been a positive for them. And for Benedict in New Orleans, unless this, see, like Benedict's what, 23? He's younger than some of these other guys. He's more on the timeline with the other guys. Unless they plan on actually trading those other wings, I don't really see. But they have several guys, Murray, Poole, maybe Zion. Like, these guys are guys that they should be shopping aggressively now and into the summer. So I think just for them, it's more about talent acquisition and then figuring out the rest later.
Who has more upside, Ben Mathurin or Yves Missi?
Probably Mathurin.
Yeah,
just because
I would agree.
He's a guard. I think more often than not, unless if you're a center and you don't have the playmaking or shooting, you're kind of in a box, right? Because you're expected to be a rebounding, rim protecting, lob finishing big. Like that's not a bad archetype at all, but it's a dime a dozen, right?
So here's why I bring that up. Because when we're talking about the Pelicans, does it make sense? Does their roster make sense with Benedict Mathurin? The Pelicans are the worst team in the Western Conference. Are they? I think they're the worst team in the NBA right now.
Dude, I didn't realize they had 10-36 as their record. Missi's been really good.
Right. Missi has pulled them to net neutral. That's amazing. The Pelicans are the worst record in the NBA. If the draft were to stay chalk right now, they would hand the number 1 overall pick in the draft to the Atlanta Hawks. They're the worst team in the NBA. So if you are the Pelicans, and we're talking about, well, does this even work with Herb Jones, with Trey Murphy? If you're the Pelicans, maybe you just don't care about fit. Maybe you just say, who has the highest ceiling? Because let's face it, by the time we get good, a lot of these dudes aren't going to be here anyway. Let's just go get whatever we think has the highest ceiling. And if we get a guy who someday could be an all-star, maybe, who knows, has at least the upside to someday be an all-star because he could be a 25-plus point per game scorer, why not go get that guy instead of a guy that we know will never be an all-star in Yves Missi? Whereas if you're the Pacers, you look at them and go, well, what are you talking about? They're awful too, except they're missing Tyrese Halliburton. They're awful, but they plan to not be awful next year. They were in the finals last year. They plan for this to be a gap year. They want to use their pick, which they got back from the Pelicans. Thank you very much, Pels. My God.
If I'm the Pelicans, I'm never trading with them again, man.
I'm never trading, period, again if I'm the Pelicans. They could have 2 top 5 picks right now in the upcoming in a loaded draft.
Exactly. We're talking about them speeding up this rebuild and all that stuff. They could have had 2 top 5 potentially. That's insane. And
so if I'm the Pacers, I'm saying I could have a top 5. Let's say, I don't know, let's say I get Darren Peters. Let's say I get AJ DeBonsa. Right? That's what the Pacers could get. And I'm adding that to Halliburton is back. I'm adding that to Nesmith and Nembhard. And then we go get a pretty good center. Yeah. Plus Pascal Siakam's in town. Yeah. Okay. Now you've got something, right? The Pacers have a path to being good. So that's where I'm saying when we're looking at this and we say, does this fit for the Pelicans? For the Pacers, they're going to be hyper-focused on fit because they intend to be good next year. If I'm the Pelicans, I'm looking at this and I'm going, I'm not going to be good anytime soon. Maybe it's as simple as that they're not as worried about fit because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Maybe they do try to find guys that fit a specific timeline more around DQ, and assuming they try to build it out around him, which I do think that's their current plan, is to try to build around him. And he's been good, but he's obviously far from what he's going to need to be in order for them to really truly build a competitive roster around him. So maybe that's something they're looking at. And again, if that's the case, Benedict is only 23. Like, he could be just entering their prime when they're about to be a really good team. The question remains the salary. They've got a lot of guys on their books, whether it's Zion, some of the other guys we talked about, that are making a lot of money. They're going to have to make some decisions on, right? And then secondly, Herb and Trey, they fit in the short term, but if you plan to really take a step back and build this out over the next 3-4 years, you may be able to keep Trey, but you probably are better suited trading Murphy or Jones, excuse me. Yeah. Because just the age bit of it all, right? And he's at his peak as an asset, especially before his contract balloons a bit.
It's why I don't completely buy that Herb Jones is not on the market. That said, when I look at it, when I try to flip this and I look at it from the Pelicans perspective, a lot of the teams that would want Herb Jones have a lot more draft capital available this summer.
Yeah, that's true.
So I do wonder if that's part of the thought process.
Yeah, but that's what I said earlier. Like, they need to looking at their cap sheet. The top 3 of these guys for sure maybe the next 2 of the next 3 guys, they need to be aggressively shopping these guys and get them off their roster and just build this out around Fears, around Queen, go from there. And if you add Mathurin, you could keep Murphy. Well, all of a sudden, I like the bones of the team that you've got there. Get some more 3-and-Ds in there. Get a big rim protecting center to play. Maybe a little bit alongside Queen. They dabbled in the double big lineup. It was not good, but maybe you do something like that.
I don't even know if Benedict Mathurin makes a lot of sense on a Derek Queen based team. I want a bunch of defensive pieces around that.
No, you
but again, maybe fit doesn't matter.
Yeah, and again, with Fears back there too, you know, it's kind of tricky. But in the short term, I see you talked about talent. A cool thing with Mathurin is if they get him on a good deal, maybe at some point they decide he doesn't fit, they're able to flip him. And I think he's a guy that probably caps out as like an all-star replacement type guy if he hits his absolute cceiling. But that's not a bad thing.
No, turning Missi into that. Missi's probably a rotation level big, right? Like he would start for some teams, not for every team though. Like that's not bad. By the way, I just need to throw this up there again. Herb Jones game on. He's a well-rested Herb Jones.
If that dude, like, come on, you know what they're doing here.
Unbelievable.
What is this? Come on, man.
He hasn't played. Look at this. He misses what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He missed 7 games. Comes back to play against the Lakers. They play him 35 minutes, and he has not played since.
Dude,
like, what are we doing?
That's very clearly an audition game,
right?
He just blew the audition, but that was very
1 for 9 shooting.
Like that. That's so like that's where like the NBA doesn't really care because he's freaking Herb Jones. It's not like he's LeBron or something, right? Yeah. But that's where it's like obvious what you're doing. Come on now. And I don't care if he's listed with 10 different injuries. There's no way he missed all those games, played 35 minutes, and then is out since. And he didn't sustain an injury in that game. Like, come on.
It's not like, he's on a minutes restriction. We're only going to play him 25 minutes or something. They played him 35 minutes his first game back, and we haven't seen the dude since.
That's unbelievable. Crazy. But who are they tanking for? They don't have the pick.
They're doing a solid for the Atlanta Hawks.
What are they doing that for?
I mean, I think Herb Jones is he banged up? Yeah, I don't think he's actually.
I'm sure he's not 100. No, but nobody really is. But if he's able to come back and play 35, then he could have played 35 the next night.
Yeah, it's funny that's the way it's all played out.
And you know what's going to happen? They're going to finish with the best odds, and Atlanta is gonna not get the number 1 pick.
What are they gonna get, number 5?
Yeah, they're gonna get the basement like Utah did last year. Get the basement,
oh my goodness,
the lowest possible. But hey, that's still a great pick.
So Herb Jones, I'm looking at the latest update. He has returned to practice. In fact, he practiced today, but was ruled out of the game. He's trying to get back on the floor for a game for the first time since the Lakers game. But yeah, he practiced but was ruled out of Wednesday's game. Now he practiced on Thursday. He should be he sounds pretty ready to play if he's playing in multiple practices.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant and I'm wrong. But yeah, that looks shady to me.
That does.
The optics around that are terrible. But yeah, for Indiana, I see why they would do that. I think that's a good decision to make. You couple that, like you said, with the draft pick this summer, and Indiana, maybe they make a free agency acquisition or 2. And with the current core that they have, they're going to be really good next season. But this season was always going to be a gap year for them, and this is to be expected. Frankly, I'm surprised Boston isn't in the same spot, but Boston turned it up after starting slowly, and they've been winning ever since. And now I don't know what their ceiling is, but I don't think this is the year for them anyway. But they removed so many pieces from that team, and they still are just winning. But from the Pelicans' perspective, I think it's more just about trying to get guys that have good talent and going from there. Maybe you could flip them, maybe you don't, maybe you see if they fit, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But from their perspective, I don't know if Mathurin is the correct target regardless of that. And it seems like We just have a situation, and this has been the case since the summer, where a new GM comes in and just wants to make a bunch of moves. And I don't know if that's the best decision overall to have somebody in power trying to do these things, because he came in and just was like, I'm trading this, I'm trading that. And now here he is running back to Indiana again, trying to get another deal done. Dude, why are you trading with a team that clearly fleeced you? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, to have that Pacers pick right now, oh boy.
Dude, exactly. Like that pick's going to mess around and be a top 3 pick. Like, come on. That would and if you get a top 3 pick, if you're the Pelicans, all of a sudden, damn, a negative PR hit of trading a guy like Zion, you could sell it as, oh, we're gonna exact same way they did with AD, right?
Yep.
Oh, we got a new guy here. This is gonna be really cool. We're gonna build it out around him and DQ and Fears, whatever, and then you go from there. But now you're just kind of stuck unless you're able to trade your most coveted assets, the wings you've got, and turn them into other picks. You're kind of stuck. So
I'm always a little bit afraid when the Pelicans make moves right now.
Are they the new Kings?
I guess. I mean,
because even Sacramento didn't make moves like this.
Kings still the Kings?
Sacramento's not trading those picks. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think Sacramento's trading those picks, man.
I agree.
There was a reason why those trades. The Pacers one, it's a hindsight thing, right? But there's a reason that other one was so poorly received, because it was very clearly a gamble.
Is that why they're so reluctant to trade like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, despite like a ton of interest around the NBA? It's because they're worried about getting fleeced.
I mean, now's the wrong time. But to be fair, you have to worry about that, right? Yeah. You can't make another bad decision, because that could set you back years, right? And so you have to be aware of that. It's just and DQ is awesome. Like I always point out how he's so cool. I really like his skill set. He reminds me of a baby Jokic. I love the new wave of ball handling, passing, and he's not really a shooter yet, but in theory, shooting, spacing the floor, bigs. I love that. Like these point centers we have. But I don't know that was worth it, because you took a gamble you'd be a good team this year, and here you are sitting at the bottom of the standings.
If you told me that was a top 8 protected pick they gave up, and that probably, I would probably think it still does the deal, even a top 6 protected pick. Yeah. Okay, I'm with it. Derek Queen was a good target. They identified a good talent that is working out for them. If that was a protected pick, this is a totally different conversation. The problem is they left that pick unprotected, so they are now completely exposed to the nightmare that they're living in right now, where it's an awful season, and you're going to hand over the best pick in the NBA potentially.
You just can't tell me that you couldn't have put protections on that. And if you couldn't, there's no way you couldn't have traded with another team, maybe a couple slots down, then moved up again.
I mean, the report was that they called all the teams after Queen didn't go at like number 8 or something. They called all the teams to try to get him, and they all said no. And then other teams have pushed back. They're like, what do you mean? If you had called us, we would have taken that in a heartbeat, So I don't know how much I buy the whole thing. But yes, Derek Queen, right target, just wrong price. That's it.
Absolutely unfortunate.
Everybody give us your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're at 40,000. Here's to 50. We'll get there. Thanks, everybody. Till next time. See ya. And stay safe.